And multiple reports from North St. Louis County residents of a strange noise.
Yeah, the source of that noise is still unclear, and they brought their complaints to Contact 2's Mike Colombo.
Lighten up now.
Loud and mysterious trumpet sounds from the sky are causing a global stir, filling people's hearts with awe and fear. Captured and shared across the world, these eerie noises have sparked wild theories and endless questions. Are they signals from another world, secret government projects, or whispers from the Earth itself? Scientists are on a hunt, battling the unknown, as speculation runs wild. Join us on this quest as we investigate the unsettling sounds that echo through our skies, uncovering the truth behind their mysterious origins, the loud echoes of the unknown. Many people around the world have heard strange noises from the sky, often compared to trumpets or horns. These sounds, called sky trumpets, have become well known as more and more people share their experiences online through social media and viral videos. The growth of the internet and modern gadgets has made it easier for people to talk about and spread the word about these weird sounds. No one is quite sure where these sounds come from. They've been heard in different places like the United States, Europe, Asia, and more. Sometimes they're soft and seem far away. Other times they're loud and fill the air. People say they sound like they're not from this world, which makes them even more interesting and a bit scary. People have come up with many ideas to explain these sky trumpets. One idea is that they might be natural sounds from the atmosphere. Like when the weather is a certain way, it might create these unusual noises. Another thought is that these sounds could be made by humans, maybe from factories or planes going very fast and breaking the sound barrier, which makes a loud noise. There's also a chance that what people are hearing isn't real at all. It might be an illusion or a trick of the mind, where people think they hear something because others have said they did, even if there's no sound. These sky trumpets have sparked a lot of discussions and have puzzled many people all over the globe. The mystery has grown as more individuals come forward to share their own experiences and recordings of these sounds. This has turned the sky trumpets into a global phenomenon, with numerous people from different backgrounds and areas trying to understand what they are hearing. Scientists and researchers are trying to figure out the truth behind these sounds, studying weather patterns, human activities, and even psychological aspects to get to the bottom of this mystery. While some people are afraid of these sounds, thinking they might be warnings or signals from another world, others are simply curious or fascinated by them. Even though there are many guesses, we still don't know what causes these strange noises, and scientists are still looking into it. Teams of experts from different areas, like weather studies and sound studies, are working together. They listen to the noises carefully and gather information to try and solve this mystery. Their big goal is to figure out what's really going on, instead of just guessing. It's important to mention that some people think these noises mean something scary, like the end of the world, or something from another world. But there's no real agreement or strong proof for these ideas. Instead, smart people who study these things say we should use science and clear thinking to figure out and explain these noises. Skyquakes are these weird, loud sounds from the sky that no one can really explain yet. They're like booms or big thunder noises that people hear all over the world. They've been around for a very long time, with stories from hundreds of years ago, but they're not like earthquakes, which we understand pretty well. Skyquakes are still a big question mark. People have heard them near the sea and in different places all over, like Australia, Belgium, Ireland, and both North and South America. In the United States, one of the first times people wrote about these sounds was in the 1800s near Seneca Lake in New York. They called it the Seneca Guns, a name that came from a story called The Lake Gun by James Fenimore Cooper. There are a lot of guesses about where skyquakes, the loud, mysterious noises from the sky, come from. One interesting guess is that they might be linked to big bursts of energy from the sun, known as coronal mass ejections. These massive bursts can shake up the Earth's outer atmosphere or mess with the Earth's magnetic field. Another idea is that they could come from the Earth itself, like small earthquakes that don't go very deep, the sudden collapse of old mining tunnels underground, or even from volcanoes. Sometimes when it's really cold, the ground can crack in what we call a frostquake, or rocks can split because of changes in temperature. But these events usually happen in just one place, and people know when they occur. There are also terms like brontides, which mean the same as skyquakes, but are used to describe sounds that happen over and over. Along the coast, people sometimes hear what they call water guns. These are similar to skyquakes and might be caused by things happening under the Earth's surface, changes in the atmosphere, or even by heavy mud and sand building up in river mouths. However, these explanations haven't been proven for sure. Historical accounts like the Barisal guns in India or the Moodus noises in Connecticut show us that these puzzling sounds have been around for a long time. They have made people wonder and guess for hundreds of years. Despite a lot of study, we still don't fully understand where these sounds, especially in places where there's no earthquake activity, come from. This makes skyquakes really fascinating and something scientists keep trying to figure out. People have been trying to understand these sounds for years, looking into different explanations like changes in the weather, the way land and water interact, or unusual activities deep inside the Earth. But even with modern technology and a lot of smart people working on it, skyquakes remain a big mystery. Next, we dive into what science says about these weird sky noises, from natural reasons to the sound secrets. Discovering Earth's silent symphony. Sometimes people worldwide report hearing weird noises that they can't explain. These strange sounds can come from different natural and scientific reasons. NASA, the space agency, has looked into these weird sounds. They say that some of the strange noises, which sound like trumpets, might be what they call ambient Earth noise. This idea means that the weird sounds could be just the Earth's background noises, but scientists are still not totally sure. Because they're not sure, people can think of different explanations and look more into where these sounds come from and what they mean. When we talk about natural reasons for these sounds, something is interesting called microseisms. These are tiny, constant waves that move through the Earth and are caused by things like ocean waves, wind, and changes in the weather. A smart person named Michael Longway-Higgins, who studied math and oceans, was the first to say that these quiet Earth waves might come from the sea. He thought that when ocean waves crash into each other, they make changes in pressure underwater. These changes then make the bottom of the ocean shake a little, which makes these quiet Earth waves that special tools can pick up. The way these waves are made and how they sound can change because of different things like storms, how deep the ocean is, and how the ocean waves hit each other. In addition to what we've discussed, NASA's special project called Themis has helped us understand how Earth's invisible shield, the magnetic field, helps make natural sounds. This mission found out that the edge of Earth's magnetic field, called the magnetopause, shakes like a drum when streams of charged particles from the sun hit it. This discovery is like finding out that Earth has its own natural drumbeat in space. This drum-like shaking adds to the natural sounds around us. It's part of a group of sounds that come from space energy waves bouncing around and whistling when they meet Earth's magnetic field. But there's more to these mysterious noises. They could also come from how the sun's energy particles, called solar plasma, interact with Earth's magnetic field. This is like when you see beautiful northern lights, but instead of seeing, we're talking about hearing. Another source could be the slow grinding and moving of Earth's giant rock plates, which we call tectonic plates. These movements can create deep, rumbling noises. The air above us, our atmosphere, also plays a part. Changes in weather, like heavy winds or storms, can make unique sounds. Plus, the Earth itself makes its own kind of music through different types of shaking and moving, what scientists call seismic activities. These can include everything from small shakes to big earthquakes. Most of the time, these sounds are so low or different from what we're used to that we can't hear them. But with really sensitive equipment, scientists can pick up these sounds. And sometimes when conditions are just right, people can actually hear these strange noises. Imagine the Earth as a big natural orchestra playing music we're only just starting to understand. This orchestra has many instruments: the ocean waves, the wind, the magnetic field, and even the ground under our feet. Each one adds its own sound to the mix, creating a complex and continuous symphony that makes up the natural sounds of our planet. Some people are doubtful and don't believe that the strange noises some folks hear come from ghosts or aliens. They think these sounds have simpler reasons. They suggest that the noises could come from everyday things like factories working, street repairs, or the screeching of train brakes. These are normal sounds we might not notice all the time, but could sound strange under certain conditions. Now, there are lots of wild stories and guesses about these mysterious sounds, especially about something called the hum. The hum is this weird low buzz or drone that some people say sounds like a faraway truck that's just sitting there not moving. People have said they've heard this sound in different places all over the world, like in Taos, a town in New Mexico, USA, or in Bristol, a city in England. But it's important to note that not many people can hear these sounds. It's just a few folks here and there. However, for the people who can hear it, it's not just a small thing. It can really bother them, making their heads hurt, keeping them up at night, or even making them feel sick. It's a big deal because it affects their day-to-day lives, and they can't just get away from it. This makes them really frustrated and tired because they don't know how to make the noise stop. There's a lot of talk and guessing about what causes the hum and other weird sounds. Since scientists haven't come up with clear answers yet, people come up with their own ideas. Some think it's something secret or strange, but without solid proof, these remain just stories and guesses. Now let's explore the wild guesses and hidden stories behind these sounds, where fact and fiction blur, the mysterious melodies of the earth. People haven't been able to figure out exactly where these strange noises are coming from, which has made a lot of people come up with their own guesses and wild stories. Take the Windsor hum in Ontario as an example. Some folks thought it came from factories, especially from a big steel-making place on Zug Island, but nobody could prove this for sure. When the people in charge didn't help much, it left everyone scratching their heads and feeling pretty upset. Without clear answers, a lot of people started to wonder if there was more to the story. These guesses aren't just regular thoughts. Some of them are pretty out there. There are tales that say these hums might be part of secret experiments by the government or the army. One project called HARP has gotten a lot of attention. The US Air Force, Navy, and DARPA, a fancy research group, started it. Some people think HARP's work on the upper part of the atmosphere is making these weird hum sounds. Others go even further, saying it's all about changing the weather on purpose or even controlling what people think. But honestly, there's no real proof to back any of this up. The whole situation with the Windsor hum is a great example of how a mystery can turn into a big deal when nobody has the answers. When officials don't help out or share information, it only makes people more curious and sometimes even scared. They start to fill in the gaps with their own ideas, which can get pretty wild. And when you have something like HARP, which is already doing high-tech and secretive work, it's easy for stories to get blown out of proportion. Even though these theories don't have evidence to stand on, they spread fast because people are looking for anything that might explain the unexplainable sounds that are bothering them. People are really interested in stories about the end of the world, and this often mixes up with wild guesses and stories that aren't based on facts. This blend stirs up different feelings and thoughts people have about how the world might end, mixing real science with stories and deep worries about things we can't explain or control. The idea of trumpets of the apocalypse comes from a very old story in the Bible, in the book of Revelation from chapters 8 to 11. In these stories, 7 trumpets are blown by angels, and each time one is blown, it starts a different kind of trouble on earth, like big natural disasters or terrible sicknesses that cause a lot of damage and pain. People are really interested in these end-of-the-world stories, and when they hear strange noises that they can't explain, like the so-called sky trumpets, they sometimes think these sounds might be warning signs of the end times, like in those biblical stories. But it's important to remember these ideas are just guesses, and many experts or religious teachers don't agree with them. This mix of curiosity about the end of the world and strange, unexplained sounds can really get people talking and thinking. It touches on everything from our natural wish to understand the unknown to our deepest fears about big, uncontrollable events. When people can't find a clear answer to something mysterious, they might turn to old stories or religious ideas for an explanation. In particular, these stories from the Bible about the trumpets have a big impact on how some people see the world. They talk about huge changes and challenges that make people think about what's really important. The idea of the trumpets sounding and starting different disasters is a powerful image that has lasted for a very long time. Even though the link between these strange noises and the end-of-the-world stories is just a theory and not based on hard evidence, it's a topic that catches a lot of interest. People from all over, with different backgrounds and beliefs, find these ideas intriguing. They spark conversations and debates, and even though not everyone agrees, these discussions can help people think about big questions, like what we believe about the future and how we handle mysteries we can't solve right away. Even though people all over the world have reported hearing strange noises, these sounds don't exactly match the detailed stories found in the Bible about the end times and the trumpets. In the Bible, the trumpets signal very specific disasters and acts from God, which is different from the vague and mysterious sounds people call sky trumpets today. The modern sounds have been blamed on all sorts of things, like natural events, factories, or even just made-up stories. There's no solid proof that these noises are the same as the trumpets mentioned in the Bible's book of Revelation. Some folks might think these eerie sounds have a religious meaning, but it's important to remember that the big events from Revelation, like the time of great trouble known as the tribulation and the exact order of the trumpet sounds, haven't happened yet. So these interesting noises don't really match the Bible's specific signs for the end of the world. Experts in religious studies and the words of the Bible itself suggest that these sounds are probably more to do with normal, earthly things or are just being misunderstood, instead of being signals that the world is about to end according to biblical prophecy. It's easy to understand why people are drawn to these sounds and might think they have something to do with important religious predictions. Hearing something you can't explain can be really unsettling, and it's natural to look for explanations, even in ancient texts or sacred beliefs. However, when we look closely at what the Bible says about the end times and the special signals that are supposed to show up, like the trumpets, we see that the current unexplained noises don't line up with those very specific events. These mysterious noises, often called sky trumpets, have led to lots of guesses and theories. They've been said to come from many different sources, and while they're definitely interesting, jumping straight to the conclusion that they're divine or supernatural might not be right. Before we assume these sounds are part of a larger cosmic plan, it's worth looking into the more everyday possibilities, like natural sounds our planet makes or noises from human activities that we just don't understand yet. Moving on, we'll see how the news and stories we hear can twist the truth about these strange sky sounds. Clickbait culture, the downfall of honest reporting. The concept of sensationalism in the media is a major factor that influences how people react and how information spreads, especially when it comes to political and social matters. Sensationalism uses strategies like creating headlines that make people look twice, instilling fear, and at times using complete falsehoods to capture the interest of the audience. This approach can twist the way the public sees the world, causing strong emotions and reactions based on information that is either incorrect or blown out of proportion. In the world of reporting and news, sensationalism brings up serious moral questions because it goes against what journalists are supposed to do: report the news in a fair and truthful manner. When sensationalism comes into play, with its misleading headlines and the dissemination of damaging information, it can have severe negative effects on the lives of people. There have been numerous instances where individuals ended up being unjustly accused or portrayed in a false light. This way of delivering news goes against the principles of journalistic ethics, which favor grabbing the reader's or viewer's attention with shocking or sensational content rather than providing factual and impartial information. Furthermore, sensationalism has found a strong foothold in the reporting and discussion of political matters. Politicians and various media platforms frequently employ over-the-top language to further their own ends, shaping public opinion and the overall atmosphere of the political landscape. For instance, in previous political campaigns, the use of sensationalist language was rampant, influencing how voters felt and thought about the issues and candidates. This type of media coverage molds the political stories, affecting the public's view and understanding of events and figures in the political arena. Additionally, in today's digital world, the problem of sensationalism has gotten worse because of something known as clickbait. This is content on the internet that's made just to get people to click on it and look at it. These clickbait pieces grab our attention by making big promises about what we'll find if we click on them. However, often when we do click, the content isn't as exciting or valuable as promised. But by that time, the people who made the content have already made money from our clicks. This encourages more and more sensational content because these creators are more focused on getting lots of views than on giving us real, detailed information. Moreover, the issue of unusual sounds and the growing number of cities and towns are seriously affecting wildlife. Animals have to change the way they live to deal with these new conditions, which can change their eating habits, where they live, and whether they can survive. Take the example of small bats known as microbats in England, or the urban black-tufted marmosets in Brazil. These animals have been seen changing the way they search for food and where they move because of loud noises. They might even stay away from places where there's plenty of food if the noise there makes it hard for them to talk to each other. In a similar way, noise pollution has caused a 25% drop in the variety of migrating birds in the United States. Some bird species choose to stay away from places that are too noisy. The issue of noise pollution and its effect on the variety of life on our planet is getting more attention nowadays. Important steps are being taken to deal with this issue, like the European Commission's Green Paper and the rules set by France in their environmental code. These steps show a growing awareness that we need to protect our environment from the harmful effects of too much noise. To create good rules to protect our natural world, we need a deep understanding of how noise affects different animals and their homes. For example, research has highlighted how noise changes the way animals live. Noise makes it hard for animals to talk to each other, find partners, escape from dangers, and find their food. Some birds have started to sing at different times, like during the night, so they can be heard over the sounds of the city. Also, some types of frogs have been found to change their croaking sounds because of the noise from cars and trucks. This is a big deal because female frogs usually like the sounds from bigger, older males. If they can't hear these calls properly, it might be harder for them to find good mates. Moreover, too much noise can make animals stressed, which can make them sick or change the way they act. For instance, in places like national parks, too much noise has made it harder for animals that hunt to catch their food. It can also make certain animals, like the Sonoran pronghorn, a kind of antelope, stay away from places that are too loud. When you add this noise problem to other challenges animals face, like bad weather or sickness, it can really hurt the number of animals living in an area. Let's now continue our adventure with these sky mysteries, thinking about how they touch everything from our curiosity to the world around us. The quest for sky sound origins. Noise pollution is a major problem that affects both people and the natural world. The sounds made by human activities don't just make life harder for us, they also harm animals and their environments. To deal with this issue, we need to think carefully and devise plans to reduce the noise we make. This will help keep the natural world diverse and full of different life forms. The strange sounds heard from the sky, often called sky trumpets, are interesting to scientists and regular people. Sometimes these noises can be explained by things happening in the atmosphere, movements of the earth, or things that humans do. But we're still trying to find out what exactly causes these sounds and where they come from. Many experts from different areas of science are trying to learn more about these sounds by doing different kinds of research. Despite all this effort, there are still many unanswered questions about these mysterious noises. The sounds known as sky trumpets have been heard worldwide and have gotten many people talking and wondering. These noises can be very loud and can sound like crashes, metallic banging, or a continuous hum. Because of how strange and widespread these sounds are, people have come up with ideas about where they might come from. Some think they could be related to changes in the weather or the Earth's atmosphere, while others wonder if they might have something to do with creatures from other planets. Despite all the attention these sounds have gotten, especially on social media, no one has been able to figure out exactly what causes them. There's still no clear answer, and the mystery of the sky trumpets puzzles everyone. The unusual occurrence known as sky trumpets has led to a wide variety of ideas and explanations, showing how much people are interested in things they can't explain. These noises, which sound a lot like the blowing of trumpets, have been heard and recorded in different parts of the globe. The way people understand these sounds varies a lot, from scientific ideas to religious meanings, adding to the mystery that surrounds these events. Looking at it from a scientific angle, the sounds known as sky trumpets are usually explained by things happening in the Earth's atmosphere or by human activities. Sometimes the atmosphere changes, like when the temperature at different heights flips around, and this can make sounds that seem strange or scary. Also, things like factories or big machines can make loud noises that, because of the way sound moves in certain air conditions, might sound like they are coming from above us in the sky. In terms of religion and culture, there are those who think of these sounds as messages from a higher power, or signs that something big and possibly scary is going to happen soon. This way of thinking is linked to stories from the Bible or other religious texts, where sounds from the sky are taken as important messages from God or the gods. Different cultures and religious traditions have often seen heavenly noises as something significant or as a sign from the divine realm. But it's important to note that these ideas are based more on personal beliefs and interpretations than on solid, scientific proof. This has led to a mix of feelings and thoughts about the sky trumpets. Some people are deeply interested in finding out the scientific reason behind these sounds, diving into research about the atmosphere, sound waves, and how environmental factors like pollution might play a role. They look at how sound can move in unusual ways, reflecting off surfaces or bending through layers of air with different temperatures, which can make sounds appear to come from the sky instead of from the ground. Others see these sounds as a call to pay attention to our environment and the changes happening around us, whether they are natural or caused by humans. They think that these sky trumpets could be a reminder of the impact our actions have on the planet and the importance of living in harmony with nature. Meanwhile, on the spiritual side, the sounds stir up feelings of awe, wonder, and sometimes fear. People in various communities might gather to pray, discuss, and ponder the possible meanings of these sky trumpets, seeing them as a prompt to reflect on their lives, beliefs, and the possible messages being sent from a realm beyond our understanding. The interest in sky trumpets is just one example of how people are fascinated by things they can't explain. This curiosity touches on different areas: science, spirituality, and even wild guesses. Some people feel that these sounds have a spiritual or hidden meaning, while others only believe what they can prove through science. This shows how differently people can think and feel about things they don't understand. Despite a lot of effort to figure out what these sky trumpets are, many questions still don't have answers. Researchers from different backgrounds are working hard to learn more about these sounds. They want to understand where they come from and why they happen. But even with all this work, people can't agree on what these sounds really are or where they come from. The sky trumpets are a big mystery, showing that there are still many things in the world that we don't know about. This curiosity about the sky trumpets shows how humans like to solve puzzles and understand the world around them. For some, these mysterious sounds might seem like a message from another world or a sign of big changes. For others, they are a challenge to be solved using science and logic. This mix of views leads to a lot of different theories and ideas, ranging from the possibility of strange weather patterns to the thought of secret government experiments. The ongoing mystery of the sky trumpets has led to many discussions and debates. People from all walks of life, whether they are scientists, spiritual leaders, or just curious individuals, have joined the conversation. They share their thoughts, compare their experiences, and discuss new theories on the internet and in meetings. This collective effort shows how the unknown can bring people together, even if they have very different beliefs or ways of thinking. Are weird sounds in the sky a secret or just nature's music we don't get yet? What's your take on this mystery? Share your thoughts, hit like, and subscribe for more.